What if the gift that lets you feel the world's pain is also the wound that could destroy you? Carl Jung uncovered a rare aura, a magnetic energy only true empaths carry, enforged from pain and transformed into profound intuition. But here's the secret he warned about: without protection, this aura can pull you into a spiral of exhaustion, draining your soul until you lose yourself. Welcome to Jung Psyche Hub, where we dive into the hidden depths of the psyche to unlock your true power. In this video, we'll reveal the 5 truths about the empath's aura, its origins in your deepest wounds, the dangers it attracts, and Jung's life-changing plan to protect it. From real-life stories to practical steps, you'll learn how to turn your sensitivity into wisdom and become a conscious empath. Stay until the end to discover how to guard your aura and shine as a beacon of healing. Ready to uncover Jung's hidden truth? Let's dive in. What makes you feel the world so deeply that a stranger's sorrow lingers in your chest like it's your own? Carl Jung called this the rare aura, a magnetic, almost mystical energy that only true empaths carry. It's not just sensitivity, it's a profound ability to sense the unspoken, to read the emotions swirling in a room before a single word is said. But this gift comes from a surprising place: your deepest wounds. In this first chapter, we'll dive into the heart of what makes an empath's aura so unique, how it's forged in pain, and why it connects you to something far greater than yourself. By the end, you'll know if you carry this aura, where it came from, and why it's both a blessing and a burden. Let's step into the shadows of your psyche and uncover the truth behind your gift. Carl Jung described empaths as carriers of the wounded healer archetype, a figure from mythology, like Chiron, who feels the pain of others because they've known suffering themselves. Your aura isn't just a glow, it's a psychic field, a subtle energy that forms when your inner wounds are transmuted into intuition. Imagine it like a cracked vase. The breaks don't weaken it. They let light shine through in a way that's uniquely beautiful. For empaths, those cracks often come from early experiences that forced you to become hyper-aware of others' emotions. Carl Jung believed this sensitivity ties you to the collective unconscious, a vast, shared reservoir of human experience where universal emotions and archetypes live. Your aura, in a sense, is a bridge to this deeper realm, letting you feel what others can't. Let's meet Emily, a 9-year-old teacher who carries this rare aura. Growing up, Emily's home was a battlefield of unspoken tension. Her parents rarely fought openly, but their silence was heavy with resentment. As the youngest, Emily learned to read their moods to keep the peace. If her father's jaw tightened, she'd crack a joke to diffuse the tension. If her mother withdrew, she'd offer comfort before being asked. By age 10, she was an expert at sensing what others needed, often at the cost of her own feelings. "I didn't know I was allowed to feel sad," she said. "My job was to make everyone else okay." Carl Jung would say, Emily's aura was born here, in this crucible of survival, where her wounds became a radar for others' pain. This is the origin of the empath's aura, a childhood or environment where love was conditional, safety was uncertain, or silence was dangerous. Maybe you grew up with a volatile parent, like Emily, or in a home where your emotions were dismissed. To survive, you became an antenna, picking up signals others missed. Dr. Judith Orloff, a psychiatrist who studies empaths, explains that this hypersensitivity rewires the brain's amygdala, heightening emotional perception. For Emily, this meant feeling her students' stress before they spoke, or sensing a friend's sadness through a single text. Her aura wasn't just empathy, it was an ancient alarm system. As Carl Jung put it, honed by pain, to detect the unspoken. But why is this aura so rare? Most people build walls around their hearts, armor made of fear, denial, or distraction. Carl Jung called this the persona, the mask we wear to protect ourselves. Empaths, though, often have their armor stripped away early, not by choice but by necessity. Emily's childhood forced her to feel everything, her parents' anger, her siblings' fear without a shield. This raw openness is what makes your aura magnetic. Almost otherworldly, people are drawn to you because you see them. Often before they see themselves, a colleague might say, "I don't know why, but I feel safe telling you things." That's your aura at work, radiating a connection to the collective unconscious that feels like magic. Yet this gift comes with a shadow. Carl Jung warned that the empath's aura, while beautiful, is fragile without awareness, because you feel so deeply. You're not just sensing individual emotions, you're tapping into universal patterns of grief, rage, or longing. Emily noticed this when she'd feel overwhelmed in crowded places, like a mall or a party, as if the weight of everyone's emotions pressed against her chest. Dr. Elaine Aron's research on highly sensitive people shows that empaths process stimuli more intensely, with heightened activity in the brain's mirror, neurons. This makes you a natural healer, but it also means you're vulnerable to overload. Without boundaries, your aura becomes a sponge, soaking up pain that isn't yours. Let's look at another example. Mark, a 5-year-old therapist, discovered his empathic aura came from growing up with an alcoholic mother. Her unpredictable moods taught him to anticipate her needs to avoid chaos. As an adult, he could sense a client's anxiety before they spoke, but he'd leave sessions drained, carrying their emotions home. Carl Jung would say Mark's aura was shaped by his wounds, connecting him to the wounded healer archetype. But without protection, he risked losing himself to others' pain. Both Emily and Mark show us that the empath's aura is a double-edged sword. It lets you heal others, but it can wound you deeper if left unguarded. So, how do you know if you carry this aura? Here are the signs. You feel others' emotions as if they're your own, often before they express them. Crowded places overwhelm you, not with noise, but with a flood of feelings. You've been called too sensitive or told you take things personally. People open up to you, even stung us, without knowing why. You've always felt different, like you're tuned to a frequency others can't hear. If this resonates, you're likely an empath, and your aura is a gift forged in pain, connecting you to the collective unconscious. The science supports this. Dr. Bessel van der Kolk's research shows that early emotional trauma heightens sensitivity in the brain's limbic system, making empaths more attuned to others' feelings. But this same sensitivity can trigger chronic stress if you don't learn to manage it. Carl Jung's insight was that this aura, while rare, isn't just a burden, it's a call to transformation. By understanding its origins, you can begin to wield it consciously, turning your wounds into wisdom. This rare aura makes you a beacon, but it also attracts dangers, people, and energies that can drain you dry. In the next chapter, we'll explore how your aura pulls in both light and shadow, and what Carl Jung warned about protecting it. Stay with us to uncover the hidden forces your gift attracts. Have you ever noticed how people are drawn to you, spilling their secrets or seeking your comfort, even when you barely know them? That's the magnetic pull of your empathic aura, a rare energy that acts like a beacon in a world full of shadows. But Carl Jung warned that this same aura attracts not just those who need healing, but also those who will drain your soul until you're empty. In this chapter, we'll uncover why your empathic aura is so irresistible, the light and shadow it pulls into your life, and the hidden dangers Carl Jung urged empaths to guard against. By the end, you'll understand who's drawn to your light, why they come, and how to protect your energy from being consumed. Let's dive into the forces your aura attracts and reveal Carl Jung's warning about its power. Carl Jung believed the empath's aura is tied to the wounded healer archetype, a universal pattern of someone who, through their own pain, becomes a source of healing for others. Your aura radiates a unique frequency, a blend of vulnerability and wisdom that resonates with the collective unconscious. The shared pool of human emotions and experiences. This makes you a magnet for people seeking solace, understanding, or connection. When you walk into a room, it's like you're carrying a lantern in the dark. Those who are lost or hurting see your light and gravitate toward it. But Carl Jung cautioned that not everyone who approaches you comes with pure intentions. Some are drawn to your aura not to heal, but to feed on it, projecting their unresolved pain onto you. Meet James, a 31-year-old social worker with an empathic aura that glowed like a beacon. At work, clients trusted him instantly, sharing traumas they'd never told anyone. Friends leaned on him for advice, and even strangers at coffee shops would open up about their struggles. I felt like a safe haven, James said, but he noticed a pattern. While some left his presence feeling lighter, others seemed to take pieces of him with them. One friend, Lisa, called him daily with complaints, unloading her anger and never asking about his life. After months, James felt exhausted, his energy sapped. Carl Jung would call Lisa an emotional vampire, not evil, but someone lost in their own shadow, unconsciously draining James to fill their emptiness. Why does this happen? Dr. Judith Orloff, an expert on empaths, explains that your heightened sensitivity activates the brain's mirror neurons, making you absorb others' emotions like a sponge. When someone projects their pain, like Lisa's anger, onto you, your aura picks it up, amplifying their feelings in your own body. Carl Jung saw this as projection, where people cast their unacknowledged emotions onto empaths because your openness mirrors their hidden truths. Those seeking healing are drawn to your light, like clients who found hope in James's compassion, but those stuck in their shadow, like Lisa, see your aura as a source to exploit, pulling you into their chaos without giving back. This magnetism isn't just personal, it's archetypal. Carl Jung's concept of the collective unconscious suggests your aura taps into universal patterns, like the mother archetype, which makes you a natural nurturer. People sense this and approach you for comfort, as if you're a lighthouse guiding them through a storm. But Carl Jung warned that this archetype can become inflated, turning you into a martyr who feels compelled to save everyone. James fell into this trap, saying yes to every demand until he was burned out. Dr. Bessel van der Kolk's research shows that absorbing others' stress triggers cortisol spikes, leading to chronic fatigue and anxiety. Without boundaries, your aura becomes a target for those who take without giving. Let's look at another example. Sarah, a 40-year-old nurse, had an empathic aura that drew patients and colleagues alike. Her ability to sense fear in a patient's eyes made her exceptional at her job. But she also attracted a co-worker, Tom, who constantly vented his frustrations, leaving Sarah drained after every shift. I felt like I was carrying his anger home, she said. Carl Jung would say Tom was projecting his shadow, his unprocessed emotions, onto Sarah's aura, which acted like a mirror, reflecting his pain. Sarah's openness made her vulnerable, and without realizing it, she was absorbing his negativity, leaving her own energy depleted. So, what makes your aura so magnetic? It's your connection to the collective unconscious, which lets you feel universal emotions: grief, rage, hope that others suppress. This creates a paradox. Your aura draws people who need your light, like a moth to a flame. But it also attracts those who want to steal it. Carl Jung warned that empaths often mistake this magnetism for a duty to fix others, falling into what he called an unconscious prison. You become so entangled in others' pain that you lose sight of your own needs, blurring the line between their emotions and yours. The science backs this up. Dr. Elaine Aron's studies on highly sensitive people show that empaths have overactive mirror neurons, making them prone to emotional overload. When Sarah absorbed Tom's anger, her brain processed it as her own, raising her stress levels. Carl Jung's insight was that this isn't just biology, it's a psychological trap. Without awareness, your aura becomes a sponge, soaking up chaos until you're drowning. The danger isn't just exhaustion, it's losing yourself to others' shadows, becoming a vessel for their pain, instead of a beacon of healing. How do you spot this danger in your life? Here are the signs. People frequently come to you with their problems, but rarely ask about yours. You feel drained after certain interactions, like your energy's been siphoned off. You struggle to say no, even when you're overwhelmed. You sense others' emotions so strongly that you question what's yours. If these resonate, your aura is likely attracting both light and shadow, and you're at risk of burnout without protection. Protecting your aura starts with awareness, recognizing who lifts you up and who drags you down. James began noticing how Lisa's calls left him heavy. While his client's gratitude energized him, he started setting limits, like not answering calls after work. Sarah took a different approach, politely redirecting Tom's venting to focus on work. These small acts of discernment are what Carl Jung called the beginning of individuation, the process of separating your energy from others' chaos. Your aura's magnetism is a gift, but it's also a double-edged sword that can pull you into darkness if left unguarded. In the next chapter, we'll explore Carl Jung's secret weapon for empaths, shadow work, and how it can transform your aura from a sponge into a mirror. Stay with us to discover how to protect your light and reclaim your power. What if the key to protecting your empathic aura lies in the part of you you've been too afraid to face? Carl Jung taught that every empath carries a shadow, the hidden emotions, fears, and desires you've buried to keep the peace or please others. Without confronting this shadow, your aura becomes a sponge, absorbing the chaos of the world until you're drained. In this chapter, we'll explore Carl Jung's secret weapon for empaths' shadow work, the courageous act of facing your hidden self to reclaim your energy and strengthen your aura. Through real-life stories and practical steps, you'll learn how to turn your wounds into wisdom and stop letting others' pain overwhelm you. By the end, you'll have the tools to start your own shadow work and protect your rare aura. Let's dive into the darkness and discover the power within. Carl Jung's concept of the shadow is the part of your psyche you've pushed away. Anger, shame, or needs you've been taught are wrong. For empaths, the shadow often holds the strength you've suppressed to avoid seeming selfish. You've spent so long feeling others' emotions that you've buried your own, believing that saying no or prioritizing yourself is cruel. Carl Jung called this a delusion of the persona, the mask of the good empath who always gives. But this mask comes at a cost. It leaves you vulnerable, letting others' shadows drain your aura. Shadow work is the process of bringing these hidden parts into the light, not to judge them, but to integrate them. This is the first step toward what Carl Jung called individuation, becoming whole. By embracing all of who you are. Meet Sarah, a 40-year-old nurse we met in Chapter 2, whose empathic aura made her a magnet for others' pain. Sarah's shadow held her suppressed anger, a feeling she'd buried since childhood. Growing up, she was taught that anger was unladylike, so she smiled through her parents' criticism and her brother's tantrums. As an adult, she absorbed her co-worker, Tom's venting, never expressing her frustration. But that anger didn't vanish. It leaked out as resentment. Snapping at her kids or feeling bitter after work, Carl Jung would say Sarah's shadow was screaming for attention, and ignoring it was dimming her aura. Through shadow work, she began journaling about her anger, asking, "Why am I so afraid to feel this?" This simple act helped her see that her anger wasn't wrong. It was a signal she needed boundaries. Shadow work isn't about becoming angry or selfish. It's about reclaiming the parts of you that protect your energy. Carl Jung believed, the shadow holds your untapped strength, like the instinct to say no, or the courage to walk away from toxic people. For empaths, this is critical because your aura's openness makes you a target for emotional overload. Dr. Peter Levine's research on trauma shows that suppressed emotions, like Sarah's anger, create tension in the nervous system, leading to burnout or anxiety. By facing these emotions, you release that tension, strengthening your aura like a vessel tempered by fire. Sarah's journaling revealed her need to stop absorbing Tom's negativity. She started saying, "I can't take this on right now," and her energy began to return. Let's look at another example. Michael, a 27-year-old graphic designer, carried an empathic aura that drew friends and colleagues seeking advice, but his shadow held a deep fear of rejection. Rooted in a childhood where he felt invisible unless he was useful, he'd say yes to every favor, even when exhausted, because saying no felt like losing love. This fear made him a sponge, soaking up others' stress until he felt hollow. Carl Jung's shadow work helped Michael confront this fear. He started small, writing down one moment he felt resentful for saying yes. "I realized I was terrified of being alone," he said. By facing this fear, he began declining requests that drained him, like late-night calls from a needy friend. His aura grew clearer, no longer clouded by the need to please. How do you start shadow work? Carl Jung suggested beginning with curiosity, not judgment. Your shadow isn't your enemy. It's a guide. Try this. Take a notebook and write about a feeling you avoid, like anger or sadness. Ask, when did I first learn this was wrong for Sarah? It was her parents' disapproval. For Michael, it was fear of rejection. Next, notice when you feel drained after an interaction. That's often your shadow signaling a boundary you need to set. Dr. Daniel Siegel's research on emotional regulation shows that naming and processing suppressed emotions rewires the brain, reducing stress and boosting clarity. This practice, which Carl Jung called active imagination, lets you dialogue with your shadow, uncovering what it's protecting. The science supports Carl Jung's wisdom. Chronic suppression of emotions, common in empaths, triggers cortisol spikes that damage the hippocampus, impairing your ability to manage stress. By facing your shadow, you heal this damage, making your aura resilient. Sarah found that acknowledging her anger didn't make her cruel, it made her stronger. She could comfort patients without taking on their fear. Michael learned that saying no didn't push people away. It earned their respect. Shadow work transforms your aura from a fragile sponge into a mirror, reflecting others' emotions without absorbing them. Why is this so powerful for empaths? Because your aura's magnetism comes from its openness. But without boundaries, it's a doorway for chaos. Carl Jung warned that unexamined shadows make you vulnerable to projection when others dump their pain onto you. By integrating your shadow, you reclaim your strength, learning to say, "This isn't mine to carry." This is the start of individuation, where you separate your identity from others' emotions, becoming a conscious empath who heals without sacrificing themselves. Ready to try it? Tonight, write down one emotion you've buried, maybe resentment or fear, and ask what it's trying to tell you. This small step can shift your aura from overwhelmed to empowered, but shadow work is just the beginning. In the next chapter, we'll explore how to evolve from a sponge soaking up pain to a lighthouse, guiding others to healing. Stay with us to discover how to become a conscious empath with Carl Jung's wisdom. Do you ever feel like you're drowning in other people's emotions, carrying their pain as if it's your own? As an empath, your rare aura makes you a sponge, soaking up the world's chaos until you're overwhelmed. But Carl Jung believed you don't have to stay this way. You can evolve into a conscious empath, someone whose aura shines like a lighthouse, guiding others to healing without losing yourself. In this chapter, we'll explore how to transform your empathy from a burden into a gift of wisdom, using Carl Jung's principles of individuation to set boundaries and reflect truth instead of absorbing pain. Through real-life stories and practical steps, you'll learn how to protect your aura and become a beacon of clarity. By the end, you'll know how to stop drowning and start shining. Let's uncover how to become a conscious empath with Jung's wisdom. Carl Jung taught that empaths often live unconsciously, their aura acting like a sponge that absorbs every emotion in its path. This is the unconscious empath, someone who feels so deeply they blur the line between their own emotions and others. Without boundaries, you take on the world's grief, anger, or fear, leaving your aura heavy and dimmed. Carl Jung's solution was individuation, the process of becoming whole by separating your identity from external chaos. A conscious empath doesn't absorb pain like a sponge, they reflect it like a mirror, holding space for others while staying rooted in their own truth. This shift, Carl Jung said, transforms your aura into a lighthouse, a steady light that guides without being consumed by the storm. Let's meet Michael, the 7-year-old graphic designer we met in Chapter 3. Michael's empathic aura made him a magnet for others' problems, but his fear of rejection kept him saying yes to everyone, leaving him drained. Through shadow work, he faced this fear. But becoming a conscious empath required more learning to set boundaries and prioritize his energy. Michael started small, telling a demanding friend, "I can't talk tonight. I need some space." At first, he felt guilty, as if he was abandoning them. But Carl Jung would say this guilt is the persona, the mask of the good empath trying to keep him trapped. Over time, Michael noticed his aura felt lighter, his friend respected his boundary, and their conversations became more balanced. By setting limits, Michael wasn't rejecting others, he was honoring himself, making his empathy wiser. This transformation is at the heart of individuation. Carl Jung believed empaths are naturally tied to the mystic archetype, those who feel the pulse of the collective unconscious, the shared reservoir of human emotions. As an unconscious empath, you merge with others' pain, losing yourself in their storms. A conscious empath, however, stands firm, like a lighthouse rooted on a cliff. You feel the waves of emotion, but don't let them sweep you away. Dr. Sue Johnson's research on emotional bonding shows that clear boundaries strengthen relationships by fostering mutual respect. When Michael set limits, he didn't lose connections, he deepened them. As others began valuing his presence rather than demanding his energy. Another example is Lisa, a 3-4-year-old therapist whose empathic aura drew clients who felt safe with her, but she used to absorb their trauma, leaving sessions exhausted and unable to sleep. "I felt like I was carrying their stories in my body," she said. Carl Jung would say, Lisa was trapped in the mother archetype, feeling compelled to nurture everyone at her own expense. To become a conscious empath, she practiced what Carl Jung called active imagination, visualizing herself as a mirror, reflecting her clients' pain back to them, not absorbing it. She also set boundaries, like limiting after-hours contact. Dr. Peter Levine's trauma research supports this processing emotions without taking them on regulates the nervous system, reducing burnout. Lisa's aura became a lighthouse, steady, clear, and guiding, allowing her to help clients without losing herself. How do you make this shift? Carl Jung's first step is awareness. Recognize when you're acting as a sponge. Notice moments you feel drained after an interaction. It's a sign you're absorbing energy that isn't yours. Try this next time you feel overwhelmed. Pause and ask, is this my emotion or someone else's? This simple question, rooted in Carl Jung's Individuation, helps you separate your truth from others' chaos. Lisa started doing this during sessions, mentally noting, this is their fear, not mine. It helped her stay present without merging with her client's pain. Over time, this practice rewires your brain. As Dr. Daniel Siegel's research shows, strengthening emotional regulation and reducing stress. The second step is setting boundaries, which Carl Jung saw as an act of self-love, not selfishness. Start small, like Michael did, by saying no to one draining request. Maybe it's declining a friend's late-night vent session or limiting time with a negative colleague. At first, guilt may creep in. Empaths often fear boundaries will push people away. But Carl Jung taught that true compassion doesn't require self-sacrifice. By protecting your aura, you create space to give from strength, not depletion. Dr. Bessel van der Kolk's studies confirm that clear boundaries lower cortisol levels, helping empaths stay balanced and energized. The third step is embracing your role as a mirror, not a sponge. Carl Jung's mystic archetype describes empaths who reflect truth, helping others see their own emotions without taking them on. Visualize your aura as a clear lake, reflecting the sky but not holding its clouds. When Lisa pictured herself as a mirror, she could listen to her client's pain without carrying it home. This shift made her aura radiant, drawing people who respected her energy rather than drained it. Try this before a tough conversation. Imagine your aura as a mirror, reflecting emotions back to their source. This mental image, grounded in Carl Jung's teachings, helps you stay centered. Becoming a conscious empath transforms how others see you. Michael noticed friends stopped unloading one-sided problems. When he set boundaries, they began sharing mutual support. Lisa's clients respected her limits, and her sessions became more collaborative. Carl Jung called this the ripple effect of individuation. When you change, you shift the energy around you. Your aura becomes a lighthouse, guiding others to their own healing, without you drowning in their storms. Ready to take the first step today? Notice one moment you feel like a sponge and ask, whose emotion is this? This small act can spark the shift from unconscious to conscious empathy. But this is just the beginning. In the next chapter, we'll reveal Carl Jung's full plan to protect your aura and turn your sensitivity into a powerful force for transformation. Stay with us to unlock the final steps to becoming a conscious empath. What if you could shield your empathic aura from the chaos of the world, turning your sensitivity into a source of strength rather than exhaustion? Carl Jung believed that empaths, with their rare aura, hold a unique power to heal, but only if they protect it. In this final chapter, we'll unveil Carl Jung's four-step plan to safeguard your aura and transform you into a conscious empath who radiates wisdom, not overwhelm. Rooted in his concepts of individuation and archetypes, this plan will help you recognize your gift, set boundaries, interpret your dreams, and become psychologically sovereign. Through real-life stories and practical tools, you'll learn how to stop absorbing pain and start shining as a beacon of healing. Let's dive into Carl Jung's roadmap to protect your aura and claim your power. Step 1. Recognize your gift. The first step is to acknowledge that you're an empath with a rare aura, a gift forged from wounds. As Carl Jung's wounded healer archetype suggests, this aura connects you to the collective unconscious, letting you feel universal emotions others ignore. But without awareness, you risk absorbing every emotion around you. Anna, a 6-year-old writer, realized she was an empath when she felt overwhelmed in crowded places, sensing strangers' sadness as if it were her own. She started by naming it, "I'm an empath, and my aura is a gift, not a curse." Try this. Write down 3 moments you felt someone else's emotions intensely. Acknowledge them as signs of your aura's power, not weakness. Dr. Elaine Aron's research on highly sensitive people shows that naming your sensitivity reduces stress. Grounding your aura in awareness. Step 2. Set boundaries. Carl Jung taught that boundaries are an act of self-love, not selfishness, a key to individuation, the process of becoming whole. Without them, your aura becomes a sponge, soaking up others' pain. Anna struggled to say no to her demanding sister, who vented daily, leaving Anna drained. Inspired by Carl Jung's idea of the mystic archetype, Anna visualized her aura as a garden with a fence, allowing her to choose who entered. She began saying, "I can listen tomorrow, but I need time tonight." At first, her sister resisted, but over time, their relationship grew healthier. Dr. Sue Johnson's studies on emotional bonding show that boundaries foster respect, not rejection. Try this. Identify one person or situation draining your energy. Practice saying no once this week, even if it's small, like declining a call. This strengthens your aura, keeping it vibrant. Step 3. Interpret your drive aims. Carl Jung believed dreams are messages from the collective unconscious, guiding empaths to protect their aura. Symbols like water, forests, or animals often appear in empathic dreams, reflecting your energy state. Anna dreamt of a dark forest with whispering trees, which Carl Jung would interpret as her psyche, urging her to set boundaries. She started journaling her dreams, asking, "What is this symbol telling me about my aura?" One dream of a deer fleeing danger helped her realize she needed to protect her vulnerability. Dr. Robert Stickgold's research on dreams shows they help process emotions, clarifying your inner needs. Try this. Keep a dream journal for a week. Write down any symbols, water, animals, or storms, and reflect on what they reveal about your energy. This practice aligns your aura with your inner wisdom. Step 4. Embrace individuation. The final step is individuation, integrating your shadow, persona, and empathic gift to become psychologically sovereign. This means living as a conscious empath who reflects truth, not absorbs pain. Like Carl Jung's alchemist archetype, transforming wounds into wisdom, Anna used shadow work to face her fear of disappointing others, which let her say no without guilt. She also practiced active imagination, visualizing her aura as a lighthouse, steady amid chaos. This helped her guide friends without taking on their stress. Dr. Peter Levine's trauma research shows that integrating suppressed emotions heals the nervous system, making your aura resilient. Try this. Visualize your aura as a lighthouse daily, radiating clarity. Ask, "How can I reflect love without carrying pain?" This anchors your energy, making you a beacon, not a sponge. Anna's transformation was profound. Once overwhelmed by her sister's demands and strangers' emotions, she became a conscious empath. Her writing flourished as she channeled her sensitivity into stories that inspired others. Her sister, inspired by Anna's boundaries, began addressing her own issues, creating a ripple effect. Carl Jung called this the power of individuation, When you protect your aura, you not only save yourself, you awaken others. Dr. Daniel Siegel's research supports this, showing that conscious emotional choices strengthen the prefrontal cortex, enhancing clarity and resilience. Anna's aura no longer flickered. It shone steadily, drawing people who respected her light. The science aligns with Carl Jung's vision. Chronic emotional overload, common in empaths. Spikes, cortisol, damaging the hippocampus and clouding your aura. By following these steps, recognizing your gift, setting boundaries, interpreting dreams, and embracing individuation, you rewire your brain for balance. Anna found peace in crowded places by grounding herself in her aura's strength. Her dreams became guides, not burdens, and her boundaries deepened her relationships, proving that protecting your aura isn't selfish, it's transformative. These 4 steps aren't a one-time fix. They're a lifelong practice. Start small this week. Name one sign of your empathic aura. Say no to one draining request. Or jot down a dream symbol. Each choice strengthens your aura, moving you towards sovereignty. In our outro, we'll wrap up with a powerful vision of your aura's potential and a call to live as a conscious empath, inspiring others with your light. Stay with us to take the final step toward protecting your rare aura and claiming your psychological sovereignty. You've just walked through the hidden depths of your psyche, uncovering the rare aura that only true empaths carry, a gift forged in wounds, radiant with wisdom, but fragile without protection. Carl Jung's truth has illuminated your path. Your aura isn't a curse to bear, but a beacon to wield, capable of healing others without draining you. From the pain of your past, you've built a bridge to the collective unconscious, feeling the world's pulse in ways most never will. But without boundaries, shadow work, and individuation, that gift can pull you into a storm of others' chaos. Today, you've learned Carl Jung's 4-step plan: recognizing your gift, setting boundaries, interpreting your dreams, and embracing individuation to transform your aura from a sponge into a lighthouse. You're not here to drown in the world's pain. You're here to shine, guiding others to their own light. Think of Anna, the writer who turned her empathic aura from a burden into a force of inspiration. Once overwhelmed by her sister's demands and the weight of strangers' emotions, she faced her shadow, set boundaries, and claimed her sovereignty. Her aura now radiates clarity, inspiring her readers and even her sister to heal. Her story proves Carl Jung's wisdom: when you protect your aura, you don't just save yourself, you spark a ripple effect, awakening others to their own power. Your sensitivity, once a wound, becomes a mirror, reflecting truth, a lighthouse standing firm against the storm. This is the essence of the conscious empath, a soul who feels deeply, loves fiercely, but never loses themselves. Here's Carl Jung's final truth: your aura is a living force, shaped by every choice you make, every boundary you set, every dream you interpret. Every fear you face strengthens it, turning your sensitivity into wisdom. So, here's your call to action right now. In the comments below, share one step you'll take to protect your aura. Will you say no to a draining relationship, journal a dream to uncover its wisdom, or simply acknowledge your gift as an empath? Your story could light the way for another empath struggling in silence. If this journey moved you, hit that like button. It tells YouTube to share this message with more seekers like us. Subscribe to Jung Psyche Hub and ring the bell for more Jungian insights to transform your psyche. Want to dive deeper? Check out our video on how to face your shadow, a beginner's guide to Carl Jung's Individuation, in the description below. Your aura is your power. Don't let it flicker. Step into your sovereignty. And let's create a world where empaths shine as beacons of healing. Thank you for being here. See you in the next chapter of your self-discovery.